Today's topic is about the tools of wisdom, the spiritual tools of wisdom that is ours, that helps us to get through all the opposites we see in the world, on planet Earth. Good, evil, darkness, light, truth, lies, so on. But we're saturated in this life and light and love. It's where we are. It is where we are when we are identified with it. And the challenge for you and for me is to identify with the creator of our being, the sustainer of our soul, the lover of our sense and sensibility, when it is aligned in truth. Now that's been given to us for a long time now. This knowledge has been available to us. And every generation has had its few that caught that consciousness since the beginning of time. But we are in this amazing opportunity now for very many more of us to catch that consciousness. It's really imperative that you and I identify with the truth of our being and not its opposite. And so if you look into yourself, into your own life, if you look out into the world, there's probably much that would suggest to you that things are not quite right, to say the least. Who's going to do something about it? Do you think whoever is going to do something about it is coming? Well, we can think that. But will that someone come? No. The someone is already here. You are the someone. You are God's individualized expression of life. Now, there's not any more you could be than that. And within you, nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, except perhaps one thing. Understanding, awareness, recognition of the true essence of who and what we are. And it is our not recognition of the true essence of who and what we are that gets us into trouble. That makes us all bump into each other, disagree with each other, argue with each other, fight with each other, forget who we are. And we start thinking that we're independent individual beings, and we're not. You are a bit of me, and I am a bit of you. There's a part of me that needs my recognition of myself in you, and a part of you that needs your recognition of yourself as me. And there's another part of us wanting a bit of recognition. The world today makes sure that we know how we are all so very closely connected. Do you remember the time when you could go out the door? Some of us will. And you were as free as a bird. Nobody could get to you. You didn't have a cell phone. You didn't have any device that could track you down, hunt you. You were free for as long as you were out of the house. For as long as you didn't hear the radio, turn on the television, you were free. And I wonder if you remember, as I do, how that felt. Your time really was your time when you were out about on your own. Gosh, nowadays, it's hard even to have a conversation with somebody without them checking out their phone. Doesn't matter whether you're sitting down for a formal meal, birthday celebration or something. Once that phone goes ding, there goes the concentration. There goes the broken connection in the circle. Oh, I mean, people say, oh, do you mind if I take this? Well, yes, actually. Not unless it's a super emergency. When you show up to be present, be present. Because every time you get a distraction like that, what you're saying to the people you're with is, this is more important than all of you. This is more important than you. Now, that's not a deliberate thought, but that's the actual feeling and the actual situation you're in. I cannot remember the last time I was at any kind of a gathering or a celebration where no gadgets went off, where there were no interruptions. So how do you want to spend your life, and how do I want to spend my life, and what do you want the quality of life to be? Do I want to be constantly and continuously distracted? Constantly and continuously not aware of myself in relation to life? I spent a long time working on today's topic. And this morning, the pages and the books and the notebooks that I had been using kept falling on the floor. For God's sakes. I haven't time for this now. I'm getting ready for going out. And the same ones kept falling all the time. And these are they. The Infinite Way by Joel Goldsmith. And I have a ton of these little notebooks everywhere in the house and in my office. When I get a thought, I jot them down. And I say, what the hey is going on here now? Oh, I thought maybe there's something in these things that we need to know today. So I said, I'll take a chance. It's hard to put it aside, a prepared talk, when you put a lot of work into it. And so that's what I decided to do. So this is the page it fell open on, The Infinite Way by Joel Goldsmith, if you're aware of him. I like the man's theology a lot. And it says here, we must develop the sense of receptivity so that we can become ever more aware of the very presence of God in God's holy temple, which is our consciousness. When did you last think of your consciousness as God's holy temple? And if you did think of it as God's holy temple, what did you think about the holy temple of your consciousness? That means your consciousness can be filled with life and light and love and peace and beauty and power, or whatever the hey you're thinking about. But you are the temple of the Most High. You are the dwelling place of the Most High. You've heard this before, so have I. Has it ever made sense? Did it ever fall deep within our awareness? So if you are that, how are you treating it? you the temple of the Most High? How are you regarding it? How are you caring for it? And what are you filling it with? How do you wake up in the morning? First thing, what do you feel? Oh my God, I hope nothing dreadful has happened in the world today. Or whatever. What's the last thing you think of at night? And do you ever think about what's going on in that holy temple of consciousness during the day? Seriously. Because when we do, our lives can rise up or plummet down, depending upon what we're pondering. So I decided, well, I suppose that's what we need to be thinking about today. To receive the grace of God, we must retire from the world of the sense and enter into the inner sanctum. Well, that's a challenge. I don't know about you. It's a challenge for me. Because in the outer world, there's all kinds of busiment of the embodiment. And there are all kinds of calls on our attention. But to receive the grace of God, we must retire from the world and its sense. Well, I would say that probably qualifies as prayerfulness, would you? Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Keep a higher consciousness. Because Spirit is always in your mind, as your mind, and potent in its ability to magnify your thinking. What is the best way we can serve the world today? How can you and I be the peacemakers that we are meant to be? The bridge builders that we are meant to be? The voice of truth that we are meant to be? What is it? I am so tired of feeling helpless and hopeless, as was in the past. I'm so tired of listening to people sound so helpless and hopeless. Remember, you are the presence of the Most High. You are the offspring of Spirit. To be an offspring of Spirit, you must be Spirit, because Spirit can only create Spirit. What you think about yourself counts. What you think about yourself matters. Because what you think about yourself, you're going to think about others. You can only think about others what you think about yourself. You only have yourself to discover, yourself to share, yourself to be. But so many of us want to be other selves. I want to be like him, I want to be like her. Why can't I be like him? Why can't I be like her? And that is to be less than you are. Him is taken, her is taken. You can only be you. And I think you is more than adequate, more than enough, as quirky as we all are. Life would be so boring if we were all the very same. And part of the puzzle of life is figuring ourselves and each other out. And if you feel strange about somebody else, it's because we put the puzzle in the wrong place, the piece. And likewise, if somebody else feels that about ourselves. And what's the best way to get the pieces together? To be in the world without absolute judgment. To be in the world without judgment. To be in the world as an observer, to be in the world as a witness. Many of the great spiritual stories tell about a God who becomes man in order to experience what goes on planet Earth. It's like when St. Francis came across a dejected beggar, a sickened beggar, a smelly beggar. And when he went over to that beggar and embraced him, the beggar became the Christ. Every single one of us is God in disguise. Every single one of us is the divine in disguise. Now, when you know that, and when you think, I don't know how, or whatever, it doesn't make sense to me, it's very odd, it's very weird, but when you know it, at least you're going to make the endeavor to unravel the disguise. And because most of us don't know it, the world is in the state it is in, disjointed, separate from each other. We still live in the gang mentality. My gang is the best gang. And my gang is the only real gang. Gang mentality. God preserve us from gang mentality. I hear people say, I'm looking for my tribe. Oh God, please stop it. You're in your tribe. It's all of humanity. You don't want to be a separate tribe from any other tribe. There's one life, that life is God life. That life is whole life. That life is perfect, and that life is all life now. So I want us all to be changed today with regard to our outlook on life and our outlook on each other, and let go of the chains, the manacles of judgment by those of us who think we can discern how everybody is and what everybody is. How do you think that's going to happen when we can't even discern who and what we are ourselves? That is why it is not selfish to ponder yourself, to reveal the best of yourself and become the best of yourself, because that's how you can best serve humanity and the world. Because when you become the best of yourself, you're the light unto the darkness. And you are all that you're supposed to be and are in truth the light that could not be quenched by any amount of darkness. That's your truth, and you may have come in here with all kinds of ailments and this and that and the other. Well, take the light to the ailments, burn brightly, and you will diminish the ailments, whatever they are. Burn brightly. Don't be miserable with your light. Torch up every day. Awaken into the light and fall asleep into the light. And do whatever it takes for you to be able to do that. Because you can. You are able and you are equal to being all that you are equal to be. That was one quote. I was going to do all of them for you. And I was going to quote all these things from these little things. Let's do one and see what it is. I'm trying to... My eyes are teary. I'm trying to figure out what's there. Anyway, this one is Emerson. Yes. Write it on your heart. Today is the best day of the year of your life. Write it on your heart. There's no better day for you to be in than today. Peer into it. Dig into it. And get to the treasure that is there for you. The whole world is waiting, and if it could, with bated breath, to see if you can get it this time and be part of what brings peace to our world. And all creations straining on tiptoe just to see the sons and daughters of God coming into their own. We used to sing this a lot. On tiptoe, straining to see who's going to make it today, who's going to break through all the cords of egotism and over-identification with humanity and be who they are and what they are. And just by being, change the whole world. Just by being, I didn't say doing, just by being in the knowing. I am the light, and the light always overcomes the darkness. Are we on? Yes. Good, because the world needs us to be on right now. It's not to say that you won't get a little shake and a quake here and there, a shiver here and there, or forget here and there, but you will pull yourself up, brush yourself off, and get back into it again, yes? Yes. So say with me right now. In this moment now, I know it. I feel it. I am the light. And the light is love. And the light is peace. And the light is beauty. And the light is power. And the light gets the job done. And so it is. Give yourself a round of applause.